Alrighty, people, Positive Paul. Here we are, Sunday, August 18th, 2024, and I will wrap this up, and this will be the end of it. I don't need to keep speaking about it concerning the stalking and harassment I received down here in Mexico, but it's all part and parcel, an extension of what went on in the United States. Now, the quick review, my family sold me out. I was born in D.C., tossed into this MK Ultra, satanic ritual abuse, dealing with these Operation Paperclip Nazi scum that are infested inside the government since the end of World War II. They actually run the show. And a lot of this still, it emanates from Europe, England, Canada's involved. And now, because see, we're at the end of this, and the redemption of God's children, the Israelites, is about to soon to take place, even though they need to go through Jacob's trouble. But they'll get the brunt of it. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the nations of the world will get out of this. There's the judgment of nations coming before Israel is redeemed and then resurrected and stand side by side with Christ during the 1,000 millennial reign. Now, I tie this strictly to the fact that I'm one of Jacob. And someone else is going through this after 8 years of social media. It's been this very scarce testimony witness from mostly social media frauds that can barely tie their shoes, even give a proper documentation of what their problem is. And remember how I always tell these people to properly document your so-called targeting, your stalking and harassment. Now, we always start off, all right? When you're connected to the Holy One, the Almighty Creator, there's certain things that you seek out, meaning the truth. And the good book is a good place to start. But in Exodus 23, over almost, 3,000 years ago now, thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thy hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many rest judgment. Now, the bugaboo there is there's a group of people that get roped into this stalking harassment. Sometimes it maybe be warranted, but other times it's based off of slander and lies and their satanic shenanigans. And so once you get involved with these creeps and you start to believe the lies, the slander, you're motivated by money, then what happens is you are following a multitude to do evil and being an unrighteous witness. And not only that, you begin to live a lie because you essentially, you can only be told what to do, when to do it, where to do it, how to think. And these Satanists, the first thing they do is they profile these snitches. So, as I was explaining, my son's mom is from Rosarito Beach, Mexico. This is how I ended up here. And my issues aren't with the Mexicans. They got roped into this. I'll keep repeating it because what they do is they use all kinds of slander depending on who they talk to. Whether I'm a criminal, whether I'm a foaming at the mouth racist, hate minorities, or I'm just crazy. That's the main one they use now because really nothing's working for them. So I've been through thousands and thousands of perps down here. They first farm them out from TJ and they bring them in from the United States while they're setting up the framework, trying to drill down into the local population to have them become snitches. Now, unfortunately for them, they've been hiding in their houses from the cartel. There's this dangerous, nefarious group out there committing murders, kidnappings, running hard drugs, destroying youth, all the things that they engage in and we know about. But see, when you live in a country where it's been oppressed and it's been rampant with poverty. And if you dare speak out against the power structure, they won't just start messing with you. You're gonna end up in a canyon somewhere 6 feet under. This is how it works. Now, the strange part is that it took them almost a decade to drill down into the neighborhood where I'm at. But again, none of these people, all right, they got no clue of who they're involved with. They're involved with a bunch of creepy American Nazi, CIA, Edomite, Satanist scum that, you know what? They don't let their victims walk away scot-free. And this is how I can tell a social media fraud from someone that's got the testimony of Christ on their heart. And this is what it's all about, what it comes down to. So what happens is this has been reduced to a spotting operation. All these Satanists, they're operatives that are down here working for these creeps that I'll never get to them, all right? It's all compartmentalized. They just want to know when I leave the neighborhood and then return. And in my travels throughout town, they want to know who I'm speaking with so they can break down any potential support. And once I spend somewhere, too much time somewhere, they figure out, and then either they send in these corrupt authorities, because I don't see how these Mexicans, on who their contacts are. That's what I'm trying to get to. But see, none of them will give them up. So I'm a little fuzzy on that, but it has to be some type of corrupt authority that will come in and say, oh, this guy's under investigation. Now, mind you, this is 10 years into this. So who would do what kind of dopey investigator would do a 10-year investigation only to generate false reports, to generate these events that are totally fabricated, and never to question anybody, all right? It's based on doing this dirty work for these Satanists to have them by the balls. There's not one authority yet in 10 years that will come face me and say, man, what the hell is going on? And why do we continue to do this? Because what it will end up doing is I have a mark on me. We can get back into that. But once you get too involved with me, well, things start to happen. I can tell you, things might go bump in the night. You might start having accidents or worse. So they want to know when I leave the neighborhood and when I come back. Now, again, I will repeat, my son's mom knows what's going on. I explained to her she doesn't have the ability to understand this, nor does she really want to understand it. And that's the sad part of when, you're in these countries that have been beat down by poverty, oppression, all that. Your concerns are very limited. And again, these Satanists have nothing to do with these people. They say none of this is happening. They're not engaging in this behavior. So again, here's my street. Here's where I'm at, right here. Now, they've all been bought off. They set up this place. It's all legitimate businesses, but owned by the cartel, run by the cartel, under the umbrella of these American Nazi, European, British, Freemason Satanists. These creeps, the CIA, FBI, they're all involved, all right? And for you Americans, look, we've explained this ad nauseum. The institutions of authority in the United States have been taken over at the top to be able to decide who lives or dies. So what happens is the main snitch is right here, all right? And here's how I explained it again. There's levels to this. At the bottom level, these ground creepers, there's 3 groups, all right? The zombie squad, which consists of mainly drug addicts, recovering drug addicts, ne'er-do-wells. Then you've got the powder puff girls and the backpack boys. Now, the zombie squad, because they can still see and hear, they're down at the end here, but they're spread out through Rosarito. Again, I'm not going to get into what goes on in the outer areas because I don't know these people, but these people knew me before the slander campaign. Actually, almost 6 years. Not all of them, but what happens is the main snitch, All right, they after the profiling, they got to get close to me. Right across the street is the main snitch. She's part of the Brunhilde Club, and her dopey husband, who's now dead. They spent the past 8 years peeking out their window, receiving, sending communications to the other snitches about when I leave and when I return. So yeah, this guy built his little compound and he walled himself in. Was a corrupt investigator. And it was kind of weird because last year, right as he wrapped up his big construction project, because that's the other thing, they try to move in people who can create these construction projects to make constant noise going on all day. So one, I have no peace. But two, I can't make videos with noise going on. And this is one of the things about me, how I know social media fraud. When they're surrounded by expensive recording audio equipment, have privacy, all this, which I had none of. And remember, all these social media frauds are almost all gone. Some of them continue on. But what happened is he completed his big, it was almost a 4-year construction project of making noise and hammering, sawing, grinding. And I went over there. I caught him outside because he would never come outside. You'd always see him with his face mask on. And I said, hey, how's it going, man? And he sees me. He's like, oh, shit. And I go, hey, you built these big walls and your concertina wire, but Satan, the devil, can jump right over there and come get you. And his worker was with there who speaks English. He knew what I said. And then, you know what? Less than, I don't know, a month later, not even, the guy drops dead of a heart attack. Now, again, I don't wish anything bad on anybody, all right? These people bought into the lies. They got involved with me and became snitches. But that she's the main one. She controls the rest of them. Now next door, I got the talebearer. These grannies that get roped in. Some of them started off. What they are, they're the gossipers. Now, before I got into the neighborhood, they would just gossip about each other. Some of these people don't even like each other. These snitches are all acting on their own selfish, separate interest. And guess what? These Satanists, these operatives, exploit that. They don't even realize that these Satanists could care less about them. They just need them to do the dirty work, so they're 2, 3, 4 layers removed, and I can't get to them. So the whole street, you got the school there, and then you got the whole syndicate, cartel-owned businesses, which they took a back seat. The main cartel guy, whatever, the investigators would sit out there, all right? When I do these videos, this is what activates some of them. And they'll probably do the same thing. But again, this is the last time I talk about it. They can do what they do. If they want to be cursed, that's fine. I don't wish this on anybody. I have to warn these people because I'm walking around with a mark. I'm part of Jacob, and they don't get that. Because, see, they're not taught that. And some of them can't even read or even dare open up a Bible. But I tell you what, they've got the crosses in their rear view mirrors in their vehicles that were given to them, the pictures of Jesus up on their wall. And so, so you got, right down here, you got Peanut Head Poncho with the 2 sisters. They gave them cameras, set them up, and their job is to, when called upon, remember, these people can only do what they're told. They cannot take any independent action as far as a community watch goes, but you've got them right there. And so if Brunhilde sees me walk out of the neighborhood that way, then she's texting the people in my line of travel to make sure I went that way, because these Satanists want the jump on me when I get out there and start moving around town, heading to where I go for my plants or see the couple friends that I have. And if they see me again, I'll keep repeating this. See, I used to, in earnest, 16, 17, 18, witness about the power of Christ, witness scripture, and they laughed at me. Some of them listened, but see, the Satanists know what I'm doing, and if they see me spending time somewhere, they will go right in there, ask why I'm there, and tell these people to stay away from me. They're probably corrupt authorities, who knows? So, okay, you got Brunhilde. These guys this way. Now I have these bridges here. There's a perp safe house here. You got them all dialed in here. You got Barbie doll on this side. I don't know a lot of their names, but they use women because, see, in the beginning they were trying to use the backpack boys. And look, when I see a guy, a stalker, I'll go right up to him and approach him. So they changed their tactics about maybe 3-4 years ago, using young women to try to spot me and position the Camaro Clown Club stalkers, because they know I'm not going to hassle these women because they're trained to bear false witness and say, oh, this gringo guy's harassing me, when the reality is they're bought and paid little stalker whores. And probably, you know what? If it wasn't for them getting this stalking money, the next stop would probably be the whorehouse in TJ. So what they're doing is, I guess these Satanists is doing these young girls a favor, for all I know. So you got the powder puff girls down here. And then, you know, some of the older people, they got involved early on, but a lot of them dropped out because they're not physically or mentally able to do the job of being a stalker. So if I go over this bridge, they get contacted. If I go down this way to go around, this is where you got the zombie squad. Then at the very end, you got Freckles, Chipmunk, Chewbacca on the other side with Brunhilde. Brunhilde 2. There's a couple Brunhildes, all right? And what they do is, because over the course of the past year, I get in these people's face and they got tired. They don't even want to go out in the street. So what these Satanists do is give them cameras so they can sit in their cushy little hovels and stare at their monitors when they get the message to make sure I went that way, because they don't want to face me. Because remember, folks, the cartel is running around at the same time, killing, kidnapping, doing all the things they do, running hard drugs. And you think, when you snitch on the cartel, what do you think's going to happen? They'll pay you a visit. You'll go out one day to go get your rice and beans at the store, and you'll never come back. These people understand this. They know this. They know how it works. So you got them there, and then they had this older guy, white guy, who was a bought and paid informant. And so let's get back to the levels, all right? So starting off, the ground creepers, zombie squad, powder puff girls, and backpack boys. The next level are informants. These are a little more intelligent. They get brought in. They're brought in and positioned. People sponsor them and put them in their houses. And so I've dealt with, I don't know, about half a dozen of them. One just moved out of the neighborhood. I like the guy too. Nice family. He even helped me out a couple times by giving me money. But I kept telling him, and then it was a couple weeks ago, they sent them out again. First, he didn't want to come out, so they sent his son out. And then the last time I saw him, they sent them out. And then I said, hey, man, you know, same deal. I give him the business. And the next thing you know, then the very next day, he's moving out. And so he got it. He don't want to sit here and spend the rest of his life being some snitch. But see, that doesn't work for the other ones. And the reason why they had to drill down into the neighborhood is because they're running out of perps. They farm them out. If I see a perp that I'm not familiar with, I'm not going to be nice with them. I will give them the business. They understand how this works, all right? I don't care. Death, whatever. Man, like I said, the cartel can shoot me up in the middle of the street, and I'm going to come back and haunt all of them. Things will start to go bump in the night, and yeah, you watch what happens, okay? And so, all right, so we can continue on. If I go out this way, then there's a whole different set of snitches down here. But remember, none of them communicate with each other. They all are exploited, all right, for their ignorance. Because remember, the profiling process, in order what these Satanists are looking for, someone that's not going to question them. That's the main thing. To never question of why they're doing and what they're doing. And the first thing you do with being a snitch, you learn how to lie. Then you learn how to play stupid. Because, see, when the asshole gringo that's being stalked and harassed and approaches these snitches and questions them, they don't like that. So what they'll do is they'll get all mealy-mouthed. They walk around with their heads down. I mean, it's just pathetic to see how these people have been exploited. And so, okay, so my exits, the 2 bridges, to go out into the street, find a bus. If Jude sent me money, then I have money to take a bus sometimes, which causes them problems because I'm moving around quicker. They kept sabotaging my truck, putting nails in my tire, messing with the engine, trying to steal it, breaking the locks. So finally I sold my truck and said, screw it. I haven't driven in 4 years. Once in a blue moon, I'll take my son's mother's car to go pick him up or try to deal with my plants if I have to because I'm tired, my feet hurt. I'm walking up to 15, 20 miles a day with these assholes chasing me, stalking me. So the goal is I just try to get away from these people. I don't even want to be around them anymore. And there are a small handful of really cool guys that they know what's going on, but they don't get involved. But they won't give me none of them will give up their contacts. And this is the thing, they know. So when I go down this way on my street, all right, here's where the Camaro Clown Club stalkers or have wormed their way in. This back street, you got 3 of them right here. And then here you got Oscar, one of the main snitches, who, once he was the first one on board, and they had him put a camera up in the corner. And as soon as he did this guy went and had a stroke. And, so that kind of, I don't know, he seemed to recover, but he's still out of it. So they put his 18, who's now maybe 20-year-old son as a stalker. They give him a car, and he was chasing me around for a while. They've took a back seat because I get into their face. And I told them, but you got the Camaro Clown Club stalker here, and then you got them right here, these ladies, Lady Gaga. See, the older what the patriarchs, the parents of these would-be powder puff backpack boys, they make their kids because, see, they're little weasels. They don't want to go out in the street and face me because this is not something they would never do, ever. Remember, if I pack up and leave tomorrow, there's no more community watch. There's the zip, nada. Okay, so she's roped in with the Camaro Clown Club stalkers, and then you got the other ones right here. So what they did was they set the girl up because she don't want to come out in the street. They gave her built her a little hut where she pretends to sell clothes out of, and it's in the weirdest spot. Nobody comes around there. But see what it is? They rotate them all out, okay, because the ones that they drill down into, what they do is they rotate them out because they don't want to do this every day. And so the Satanists exploit them for what they're good for. So they set her up with this little store where she can stand there now, and that's her excuse of why they came out of their house. Because, see, folks, I knew these people 6 years before the slander campaign. I'm 14 years into this area since my son will be 14 coming up, all right? These people seen me. I've talked to some of them. And the thing of it is, I don't even never see them. Very few of them talk to each other. They all keep to themselves. This is the bizarre part about it, on how they would want to get involved with me after they know. Look, this is so sad. And this is just not this area. This could be going on in South America, mainland Mexico, but I highly doubt. All right? You know, where is Jacob? Where's the 144,000? Who else is going through this? There's no such thing as targeted individuals, you assholes. It was an aspect of the damage control program to mitigate the testimony of a satanic ritual abuse survivor. Don't you get that? So what they do is they create these fake businesses up and down the street here. And some of them, you know, they actually do perform a service, but the ones in the neighborhood, I never even see anybody going in and out of these places. And it's like, how in the heck? So what they are, they're subsidized. All right, I'm losing it. All right, can't my tongue getting tongue tied, but they subsidize these snitches. All right, so that's their excuse of why they're there. And, you know, when one area is not working for these Satanists, you see these businesses just all of a sudden pack up and disappear. It's like a social media fraud or a perp, a gang stalker. One goes down, as pop goes the weasel. Another comes up. They got perp academies where they train these snitches. And, you know, it's just sad. So, okay, Zombie Squad, Powder Puff Girls, Backpack Boys, informants. They're there to get information about what I'm up to, what I'm doing, and then they pass it along. And then, all right, up after that is the Camaro Clown Club Stalkers. It's these derelict, low-life scum that have been convinced to drive around these Camaros that somehow it psychologically reminds me, oh, I was part of this big stolen car caper, that to this day, all right, it's a done deal 10 years ago. These assholes use that just to let me know they're there, because they had to find a way to make me notice them. Because I don't pay attention a lot of the times to anything, to be honest with you people. Even now they know from my whole life that they've been following me around, all right? But the Camaro Clown Club Stalkers, the other groups are used to position them. So if I'm walking, I go off this bridge and I'm walking down this way, they got these Camaro Clown Club Stalkers peppered everywhere. And all they do is drive by me to psychologically somehow remind me. I guess, I don't know. I mean, I think that's the reason. I don't know, but it's such a joke right now. And this is where I talk about tens of thousands of dollars being spent a day on me to get nowhere, just to mentally try to fuck with me, play mind games. So with these Camaro Clown Club Stalkers, all right, what they do is, originally, here's my street right here that I just showed you. Here's where the syndicate's set up. The cartel runs this, all right? Now, right there's the Camaro, all right? What they would do is they would park it in front there or park it on the street. Right there's where Peanut Head Poncho and his sisters with their cameras and all that. This place all loaded down with cameras staring at me. And so what happened is because, see, they were so in deep with me, all right, the bad luck hit. Another cartel was ordered in and they blew the place up, like back in June of 2021. And where do you think the snitches were across the street with their cameras? They were hiding under their beds, folks. Where do you think they were? So yeah, so they come in, they blow the place up, and now it's all fixed, backed up, and kind of slowed down. But see, this camera goes right to my door. They sit up here in these offices and can be called upon. They were using the call center, Apex Call Center, as their snitch central. And then the other ones, it's all legitimate businesses though. And look, the people that are there now are all nice people. Some of them may involved. I don't, I'm nice to them. I say hello. And I got no ill will against any of them, Even these dopes right here, they got their house built for them. We're given business money to start their little haircut business. But this is all based off of them being snitches, keeping an eye on me. So when you look down the street, right? All right. the two next door neighbors, the old lady with their son, they're heavily involved. But again, I see them on a daily basis, and I've talked to them. But see, look, they have no frame of reference. These Mexicans are I know what they think. Well, look, we're being told that we got to keep an eye on this guy. We're from here. We're Mexican. They're saying this guy's a bad guy. He's going to do something to somebody. And so what they do, the kid, he's supposed to be a mechanic. But what he does is, I could give you, if not one example here, a good probably another 6, 7 more. They drive a Camaro over to the mechanic shop, and then he drives it and just puts it there at the house so I can see it if I'm out on the street. He hasn't done it off lately, but what happens is, okay, when I complain about it, what they do is they send these investigators out to sit there on the street, and I go up, I try to talk to them, and what they do is they try to avoid me because, see, they don't want to do their job. And the cartel guy that they were, look, the cartel guy that knew, he knows exactly what's going on. He got ran out of there. That's why they blew the place up. When you know too much, you remember, these snitches, it doesn't matter who they are. It could be anybody. You got a shelf life. And so, yeah, they haven't sat there lately, but they can be called out. And this is all response to my videos, okay? Now, they understand when they're on the street, these cops, these investigators, these cartel guys, the real criminals, they shoot first, ask questions later. They don't give a fuck who it is. It could be whoever. You get in their way, you stalk them, harass them, prevent them from doing what they do, there's consequences. So here's an example. A couple months ago, the school, all right, they've used the teachers here. The school, all right, the criminals, the real criminals, waltz right into the school. They tie the custodian lady up, pistol whip the teacher, leave him for dead, take their money. And where were these snitches? Where were they? They were hiding under their beds. Or see, they didn't get the call that a dangerous criminal was in the neighborhood. Because see, the only call they get, these snitches, is concerning me. If you put them through the perp walk, put them under a deposition, how would they hold up? All right? And let's figure out who these contacts are. They know who these contacts are. So this is what goes on right under their noses. And so what they did was, all right, because all this is going on, all right, what the WEF, they've taken over Mexico essentially, and they brought them out of the Stone Age. And how they fix things, they give everybody can.